the evenings, and please, share any feedback you'd like. Tonight I thought we would start, I have 2 blankets stacked, but I have them kind of quite long. Okay, so I took, you kind of have the yoga blanket, kind of that from folded here. I made it quite long, and you might be using big towels. And then I put a tri-fold in the blanket. So I did that to 2 of the blankets. Just so that they're ready, we'll start like that. And then I do have a bolster nearby. I thought we would start in Virasana, which is hero's pose. So you could place the bolster or blocks on the blanket. We could come actually just to the front of the blankets. And if you're able to, you move the head of the calf back and sit, maybe just on the blankets. So I have the knees on the floor, move the head of the calf back, and I'm sitting on the blankets. But if you find that that's not good for knees or hips, then you could just bring the bolster underneath to lift the hips up a little bit higher. And I'll just stay in this position just for a few moments so you can see that I've got the shins on the floor, sitting bones supported, letting the tailbone lengthen down and the spine ascend up. Come forward just a little bit so you can let the hands kind of slide towards the knees. Just lift the knees one at a time, releasing the skin. So I'm lifting, helps to release the skin of the knee. Then the top of the sacrum move in and forward. Move the sitting bones down. So as you come back, feel the lower abdomen move up and really plant those sitting bones down, tailbone centered between sitting bones. Let the shoulder bones roll back. So the hands are moving back from the shoulders going back. The crown of the head parallel to the ceiling. Nice soft open in the throat. Really feel from the back of the head that kind of the 2 notches here at the base of the skull, running down the back of the neck, that skin of the upper back releasing down. And I'm just going to turn to the front just so I can face you. I'll just sit not on the same setup, but just so that I'm facing the front. Feel that notch from the base of the sternum, the diaphragm moving to the sides, the base of the sternum lifting up. Keeping the front throat relaxed, you can bring the chin towards the chest, the hands to the heart. And if you'd like to join me for 3 ohms, we'll take a few moments to settle in, really feel sitting bones, shins descend down, that's your foundation. The spine lifting up from the base of the spine. The head, just placed, balanced evenly at the top of the vertebra. And we soften the throat, let the head release down. Surrender the head to the heart. So we gaze into the heart. Let the mind settle down. The breath becomes smooth and even. Feel the even touch of the palms, the warmth between the palm, radiating from the right to the left to the right. The sound Om is said to be the first syllable created, consisting of 4 parts. The Ah representing the waking state, the Oo, the dreaming state, the dreamless state, and then that resonating vibration that you feel more than hear at the end. Let the first few ohms be silent within before we chant the three out loud. And of course, you can just sit, you don't have to chant. That silent vibration of Om within, just really that feeling of resonating. And when something resonates within you, you hear something, that feeling of acknowledging, knowing, resonating with the sound of Om. And at the next exhalation, just let the hands release, the head release. Just slowly let the eyes open. We lift the head. If you'd like, you can roll the shoulders just a few times. From here, I like to come back, bringing the hands back to the heart, and then interlace the fingers, extend the palms forward. Of course, if you're working any neck, shoulder issues, or through the wrists, fingers, you can just bring the arms parallel, really extending out, and then just raising the arms as high as you can. You can interlace, we're stretching, elbows move in, inner arms lift up, roll the thumb side up, the pinky side down. Look up if you can. Okay. Really try and get that pinky finger snug as we stretch up, waist lifting up out of the hips. Bring the weight firmly into your sitting bones. Okay, don't be light on the sitting bones. Sitting bones descend down. Levelize the head. We'll bring the arms back. Change the interlace of the fingers, extending to the palms, and then we'll inhale, reach up. Bring those front ribs in. Keeping the throat relaxed this time, looking down. And then we can look forward and release. If you can say just a few breaths longer, we'll add a little bit of a twist. You might need, something for your hand. If you're on that bolster setup, actually, you can just bring your hand onto the bolster. So if I sitting on that bolster, you can just bring your hand back to the bolster. The other hand can come either between the knees or to the outer knee. Just go to where it's better for your back, hips. Okay, so you're not over straining. We can bring the hand, keep the armpit lifting. Look over the back shoulder. Move the shoulder blades in and really free that armpit area. And then we'll come back and then to the other side. Keep the spine perpendicular to the floor. Again, pressing through the shins, the sitting bones down, looking over the back shoulder. As the sternum lifts, feel that expansion of the collarbones to your outer shoulders. And then we'll come back to the front. From here, you can come forward. Stretch the legs back one at a time, just opening up the backs of the knees. And then we'll turn the bolster now so it's coming across your blanket or towel setup. And if you do have a belt nearby, okay, we're going to use this belt, and I'm going to make the loop quite big to start. See that you have this tail part and the buckle in a spot that you can easily pull and tighten the buckle. So I'm going to sit on the blanket. So right, the blanket's a little bit wider, so it should fit both sitting bones. Bring the elbows down onto your bolster, move the tailbone a little bit away, coiling the back ribs in, I'm coming down. You might need another block or a blanket for the back of the head. If you can, you wrap the arms back of the head, comes to the blanket. So it's a little bit soft, getting the back of the head. I'm not going for the top of the head, okay, back of the head. If that feels too intense on the neck, just use a little bit more height, whether it's a block or another blanket. Okay, so I'll stay with the block. You can see that armpit area has cleared the bolster. The flesh of the back armpit comes to the front. And then with this belt, I'm going to loop the belt around the legs, okay, down to the shins and to the upper thigh. Tightening the belt so that you can let the legs open to Baddha Konasana, but not too tight that you can't let the toes hang off the blanket. Okay? The toes angle down a little bit more than the heels. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but I have the heels up on the blanket and the toes are angling down just a little bit. So we come into Supta Baddha Konasana. There's a little different variation than what we had done the other night. Okay, so you can do this belt different ways. I've just chosen, because this way it's quite easy. I have the heels on the blanket that loop around, opening the legs out to the side. Tighten or loosen the belt as you need. The toes angling down, really still trying to get the inner heels together. And the arms wrap the bolster, giving your head enough support. If you feel the skin of the upper back is actually moving up towards your neck, then you need to readjust a little bit, okay, so that the skin of the upper back moves away from the neck. Feel the shoulder blades move in, the tailbone moving towards the heels. Press the feet together. Really feel that spread in the lower abdomen. For those that feel this is a little too much for your hips, you can, come cross-legged. And I like this blanket set up too, because you can have the feet on either side of the blanket and then let the knees open out to the sides. So the shins are supported. There's space for your feet. Okay. So you can come into cross-legged if you find the bound angle pose too intense on the hips. We'll stay just another few minutes here in the Supta Baddha Konasana. Let the front throat be open, the jaw relaxed, the back of the tongue soft and deflating. Feel an open, clear passage through the nostrils to the throat, down the throat into the lungs. The eyes receding inward. The skin of the forehead relaxed around the temples. So getting that openness to prepare for sitting through the front body. The movement of the shoulder blades in, to the back body, the length to the spine, the spinal muscles, and that cool calmness to the mind, to the brain, and ease to your breath. If you've chosen to sit to be in this pose cross-legged, then change the cross of your shins. Take 3 or 4 more breaths. Without force or strain, but try and make each breath as long, smooth, even as possible. After the next exhalation, we'll bring the arms in. Use the hands to bring the legs back up and remove the belt. If you'd like, just help bring the head up, re-engage the neck muscles, and then we can press to come up to sitting. We come to sitting. I'm just going to change my blanket just a little bit, my setup. So as an option, you could keep the blankets and your bolster. Come to sit on the bolster. And then just as I mentioned when you were lying down, that blanket can help support the shins. You could come to sit cross-legged with this blanket coming out in front. So I've got the blankets, the bolster, the feet on either side, crossing the shins. So then when you release the legs down, the shins rest on the blanket, the feet can be relaxed. So if you maybe find that the feet go to sleep or it feels crunched in the feet sometimes, this can be a nice way to have space for the feet. So settle in on a height that is suitable for you, not too high or low. We can, again, readjust flush of the buttocks back, finding the sitting bones. Bring the hands to the sides just for a few breaths. Let the crown of the head ascend. Bring the hands to the thighs. Move the shoulder bones back. Really see that you take the support that you need and adjust when necessary. It can take a few moments though to settle in. If you feel you can sit longer with your back at the wall, then bring your back to the wall, or even can have that bolster behind. Just move to the bolster behind so that I have something to lean back into. The eyes begin to gaze down. The eyelids soften and release downward. Keep the corners of the mouth lifted to a smile. As the face relaxes, retain that inner smile. The breath, it moves up and down the spine. said that the chakras reside along the spine, said to be, the word chakra means wheel, so it's said to be these wheels along the spine. I sometimes envision, the wheels that as the breath moves past, almost like a pinwheel, that it spins the wheel. And then when they're all in unison, body, breath, mind, that energy feels even throughout the body, that the spinning, whichever direction they're meant to spin, is balanced for your body. Through the week, we've been talking of bringing awareness, that mindfulness back to the breath if the mind wanders. Given the suggestion of Thich Nhat Hanh, it said that you can just say to yourself when you breathe in that you know you're breathing in. When you breathe out, you acknowledge, know that you're breathing out. Another way is through a mantra. Mantras said to be a protection to the mind. To the body. One mantra I like is the Soham or Hamsa mantra, where its meaning is that I am that. We are the breath, the body, all that is around us, within us. In the inhalation, you can inhale the hum, the exhalation, sa. It can also be reversed, so as you inhale, it's so. The exhalation, hum. You may try both ways, maybe 8 to 10 rounds each way and just see if you feel a difference. Try both ways. Did you feel any difference in the movement of the breath? One part feel that you emphasized the inhalation more than the exhalation, or vice versa. Maybe continue with the awareness on that mantra. You begin to feel the connection to your mind, body, breath. They are not separate, cannot be one without the other. Connection to the space around you, the ground, the air. All the elements. Those around you. We are not separate. You do have the shins crossed. Would like to change the cross of the shins. Or at this time, even come to lying down if you feel that sitting just too much. Just take that cue from your body that you have to listen to your own body. The first few breaths, if you've changed the cross of the legs or made any adjustments, you settle back in. And over time, with practice, bringing the mind back doesn't take so much. First, it might wander with any little discomfort, any movement. The mind might kind of take that as a cue to start spinning. But with practice, you can come back to your breath, or the mantra, whatever that is for you. The quotes that I come back to That at the core, yoga teaches us that only when we give fully of ourselves can we find a deeper contentment in our own lives. Knowing that we're connected to all that is around us, to everyone that is around us. And when we feel joy, no matter what our situation, we will feel joy for others too. Taking delight in the good fortune of others. This creates more happiness for yourself. Maybe then reflect on something that brings you joy, that happened and brought you contentment, how you felt, what that sensation within felt like. Usually feel that when you see, hear the good fortune of others. Help us cultivate more gratitude for the things we have. For our own lives and the people in it. Sit a few moments longer before we really climb to Shavasana for a few minutes. I'd like to end with the Brahmari breath, the bee's breath, seated just a few rounds. And this breath is a normal in-breath, and then the exhalation is a hum, the back of the throat. To show you if you're not sure of this, it's a normal in-breath, the exhalation, the hum. You can take any normal breaths that you need in between. And just let that, again, the vibration calm the mind further, relax the jaw, the throat. It's to be that soft hum like the sound of a bee. Or maybe do 6 to 8 rounds and then lie down in the Shavasana. You can do this lying down also if you're already reclined. If you're ready, and just come down to Shavasana. And release down. Cover yourself as you need. You get a little bit of pillow under the head and neck. You feel that's best for you. Extend through the back of the legs to the heels, back of the arm, the palms. Stay in Shavasana as long as you wish. Thank you so much for joining me this evening and for this session. This practice benefits ourselves and those around us. There's one quote. Yoga is to be known by yoga. Yoga is the teacher of yoga. The power of yoga manifests through yoga alone. He who does not become careless, negligent, or inattentive, he alone rests in yoga and enjoys yoga. Much peace to each of you. Well, and thank you again